The Alouettes have their great uniforms on, but they're in the red zone as it seems that feud between those two players is over with the first pass of the game from Cato, and he's going to the end zone looking for Giguère. Touchdown! Cato to Giguère. 6-0 Montreal.
.736 on TSN 690. It's Weekend Game Plan. I'm your host, Matthew Ross. We're here till 9 o'clock. Play It Again radio show with Mr. Mitch Gallo coming up at that point. Still to come on this show, just after 8:05, Habs Breakfast will be joined by Aruni Siv of Habs Eye on the Prize, as well as Amanda Stein of TSN 690 here in studio. I'm Matthew Ross. He is Dave Trentadue, and we are joined now on the phone by a gentleman who is everywhere and anywhere when it comes to Montreal Alouettes and Montreal Impact. You can follow him on Twitter at Joey Alfieri. It is TSN 690's own Joey Alfieri. Hey, Joey, how you doing?
Hey, doing well. How are you guys?
I'm very well. Joey, thank you for getting up. I appreciate that.
No worries, man. Anything for you and Dave.
Now, what inspired you to wake up this early for me? Honestly, I mean, you're all around.
I do some work for it's truly I'm not gonna it's not just for you guys. I do some work from home for NHL on NBC, so I'm up writing early anyway. So I figured,
all right,
why not help a couple of my boys out also here?
Much appreciated.
No worries.
All right, well, that clip, obviously one of the highlights from the Alouettes' big win versus the Argos, that just kind of kept them in the conversation for the playoffs. We saw Saskatchewan win yesterday over the Ottawa Red Blacks. Saskatchewan half a game behind the Alouettes, but right now Montreal's got to look ahead. And because of that crossover, Joey, it means that the Alouettes aren't really chasing the Argos, who are half a game in front of them. They're chasing Hamilton, who's at 6-8, just above Toronto, because Edmonton, the team they're playing on Monday, is trying to get the crossover spot that would supplant Toronto. So if you're following at home, basically the Alouettes just have to win out, essentially.
Yeah, I think maybe they can afford to drop one game and still be relatively safe. But yeah, it's just one of those wacky things in the CFL. They're not gunning for third place; they're gunning for second place right now, because it looks like Edmonton or Winnipeg is going to cross over into the East. Look, I mean, things are looking positive, but there's a few things you have to keep in mind. One, it's the CFL, and wacky things happen from week to week. Two, Toronto's not very good, and they showed that last Sunday. And three, the Alouettes have done this a couple of times before. They blew out Saskatchewan in Montreal earlier this season. They followed that up with a bit of a dud against the BC Lions the following week, and then they dismantled Ottawa in August, I believe it was, and then came back and laid an egg against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers the following week. So just went to practice this week, spoke to a couple of the guys, notably Duron Carter, who was telling me, they've been in this position before. They've blown out teams before. They've had a couple of good performances before. But now it's all about keeping a level head. And it's, he says that they've done a good job of not being too low when things were bad. But now they need to focus on not being too high when things are good. And, it's one impressive win. Jacques Chapdelaine definitely called a great game on offense. And now it's just going to be about staying consistent and, clawing and trying to get to Hamilton, who's in second place. And the Tiger Cats are struggling. Zach Collaros left last week's game against Calgary. So they're on bye this week. So it'll be interesting to see if he's available starting next week. But listen, I'm not saying the Alouettes' playoff hopes are likely, but there's still a chance.
Chatting with Joey Alfieri of TSN 690 on Weekend Game Plan with Matthew Ross. A little CFL talk here. We looked at the schedule, Joey. After Edmonton, they go to Calgary, which might be that one loss you're talking about on the schedule. They actually finished the season in Hamilton, a 1 o'clock start on later on in the season. If they beat Hamilton, assuming everything goes right for them and they beat Hamilton and they're tied, does Hamilton still have that tie break or what?
Yeah, well, because Hamilton's won 2 games of the season series already, so that's the first tiebreaker. So Hamilton's won 2 of the 3 games, so no matter what happens in that game, the Alouettes have to finish ahead of the Tiger Cats in the standings. There's no way around it.
All right. Elsewhere, we saw the offense last week in that game. You mentioned Jacques Chapdelaine now calling the plays. What was Anthony Calvillo's role in that victory, if you're aware of it, and what is his role moving forward then?
Yeah, I spoke to him. I spoke to that with him about it before the game, and basically there to kind of offer support outside of, being part of the meetings and helping out with the, with the X's and O's. It basically, play calling is, the biggest responsibility you have as an offensive coordinator on game day. There's no doubt about that. But, for right now, he's the eyes in the sky. He's in the booth, and that's what he's doing. He'll talk down to Jacques Chapdelaine, who's obviously on the sidelines, and talk to him about trends and what he's seeing from the booth. And that's pretty much what it is on game day. During the week, obviously there's some meetings. And he still technically is the offensive coordinator, just doesn't have the play calling responsibility. So obviously, the burden is lighter, but I'm not going to say like he's just sitting around and doing nothing. But obviously, for right now, his main responsibility on game day is being the eyes in the sky and looking at what the defense is doing, and obviously, having a nice vantage point on that. So that's basically what he's up to right now.
Joey, I want to speak to you a bit about the Montreal Impact. After a difficult start to September, they seem to have bounced back. They strung along 2 victories against San Jose and Orlando. But is there any concern for you about how they won last on Sunday against Orlando City? I mean, Orlando City, they pretty much dominated the possession game. They had more scoring chances, and Evan Bush pretty much had to steal the game. Is it a concern for you, or is a win a win?
Right. Look, I think this is obviously something that's been made, on Twitter I've been hearing about it, how, it's been 2 in a row, but people are concerned with the way they won. Look, man, this is the way it is in the MLS on the road, and, teams are going to dominate possession. Possession, doesn't really worry me more often than not. The home team is always going to have possession, but yeah, sure, they gave up a lot of scoring chances in the second half, but, there's one thing you have to keep in mind with that, is that Orlando, essentially, not that they didn't have anything to lose, but they had to go all in. Once Dominic Oduro scores 10 minutes into the second half, Orlando knows that if they don't score and they don't score twice, they don't come away with 3 points, they're pretty much toast. So obviously Orlando had to open it up. They had to push to get forward, and did they have chances? Absolutely. Evan Bush came up with a number of great saves off Kyle Larin especially, but yeah, sure. So, the Impact gave up a ton of opportunities, but you also have to understand the situation that Orlando was in, and they were coming in waves, and they were trying to not only find the equalizer, find the go-ahead goal. They weren't able to do that, and basically their playoff hopes were dashed. They're now mathematically eliminated. So, am I concerned? Would I have liked to see them keep shape? Yeah, sure. But, I mean, the Impact played a game on Wednesday against San Jose, had to travel on a short week to Orlando on Sunday, and it was 41 degrees pitch level. So, I mean, obviously, the fact that they were able to keep a clean sheet says something to me. So I'm not as concerned as other people are. I'm looking at it glass half full. Orlando had to push really hard, and that's just what it is. That's what the MLS road games are about, keeping shape and trying to stay compact defensively when the home team is coming at you.
What are your thoughts on Mateo Mancosu? He's played some pretty good soccer over the past few games. Do you see him getting any time in the playoffs, or is he going to have to battle with Drogba for those minutes?
No, for sure. I think they have to find a way to get him on the field as much as possible. I mean, usually guys coming over from Europe, because the season ends in Europe close to the beginning of summer, and that's when the MLS. You're in the middle of the MLS season. So sometimes when guys come over from Europe, they're a little gassed from having a full season over in Europe. In his case, was in Italy. And it takes time to adjust to MLS, but he's been fantastic. I'm not just saying that because he's Italian. He's been really, really good. And he's shown that not only can he put the ball in the back of the net, he's also able to set guys up, as you saw on the Dominic Oduro goal on Sunday. He was the one who sent Oduro in on that fast break. So, no, Mancosu's been very, very good. There is one thing, though. He's definitely earned his spot in the starting 11. But yesterday, there's reports that surfaced that he did leave practice with some discomfort in his knee. And if he's out for an extended period of time, that is a devastating loss for the Impact.
Weekend Game Plan with Matthew Ross here on TSN 690. We're just wrapping up with Joey Alfieri of TSN 690, covering the Owls, the Impact, and a lot more. Now, Joey, before we let you go, what's your pick for Monday? Alouettes.
My pick for Monday. You know what? I think the Alouettes are going to get it done. I'm not... I'm on the bandwagon. I just think that right now there's a lot of positive vibes coming around this team. Just looking at the way that they went through practice when I was there yesterday, the guys are joking again, the guys are laughing, but there's also some seriousness to what they're doing, and that's really credit to Jacques Chapdelaine. There's a lot less time wasting when it comes to practice. A lot less guys are standing around, and I think the guys have bought in, and they realize that, listen, we had a terrible first half of the season, first half plus, but we have a chance to right some wrongs. They're still in the playoff hunt, and you know what? I think they're all in. I think they've bought into what Jacques Chapdelaine is selling, and you know what? I think they'll take care of business on Monday at home. They have no choice.
All right, and why don't you give yourself a little plug? You're talking about coverage on NBC.
Yeah, man, I'm doing some writing for rotoworld.com and also Pro Hockey Talk. So throughout the day, you log on to prohockeytalk.com or rotoworld.com, and until about, I'd say, 3 o'clock, a lot of the stuff that's being posted is going to be by yours truly. So check it out, and let me know what you guys think.
All right, and at Joey Alfieri on Twitter. Thanks so much, Joey. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, guys.